Imagine waking up. You start looking around. You are now a Sherpa at 7,500 meters, knowing that soon you will enter the death zone where the air is effectively gone. Over the next few days, you will face more drama, danger, and life-altering decisions than most people experience in an entire lifetime. While your client hallucinates and struggles to stay conscious, you must be the main man, carrying 30 kilos of gear while everyone else is just fighting to breathe. The mountain doesn't care about your pride or your money. It only cares about if you have what it takes to survive. Day 1. The threshold, 7,500 meters. The air at 7,500 meters doesn't just feel thin, it feels predatory. You are standing at the edge of the world, where the sky turns a bruised, dark indigo and the wind screams with a frequency that vibrates in your very marrow. Below you, the world is a map of white and gray. Above you, the mountain disappears into a cloud of spindrift, hiding the monster you are about to climb. You are at the final staging ground before the atmosphere becomes a weapon. This is the doorstep to the death zone. Behind you, your client is failing. You hear it before you see it, the ragged, desperate sound of a human being realizing that money cannot buy the right to breathe. To them, the air tastes like nothing. It is a vacuum. They are experiencing the crushing reality of hypobaric hypoxia. Every breath they take is a frantic, shallow grab for molecules that simply aren't there. At this altitude, the atmospheric pressure has dropped to nearly 383 millibars. The partial pressure of oxygen, PO2, is so low that it can no longer force its way through the membranes of their lungs and into their bloodstream. To your client, this feels like drowning on dry land. They are breathing through a sugror, a sodden, collapsed straw. Their heart is hammering against their ribs like a trapped bird, racing at 140 beats per minute just to keep their organs from shutting down. Their blood is changing. In a desperate attempt to transport more oxygen, their body is flooding their system with red blood cells. But there is a price. Their blood is turning into a thick, viscous sludge. It is becoming muddy, clogging their capillaries, increasing the risk of a stroke or a heart attack with every step. But you are a biological masterpiece, forged in the fires of 30,000 years of evolution on the Tibetan plateau. While your client panics, your body is calm. You are not a visitor here, you are the apex. Your secret is written in your DNA. You carry the EPAS1 gene variant, a gift likely inherited from the extinct Denisovans. While the client's blood turns to sludge, your EPAS1 gene prevents that overproduction of red blood cells. Your blood remains thin, fluid, and light even as the air vanishes. It flows through your veins with ease, delivering what little oxygen exists to your brain without straining your heart. Inside your muscles, a silent revolution is taking place. Your mitochondria, the microscopic power plants of your cells, are not like theirs. Your mitochondria are hyper-efficient, tuned by millennia of natural selection to produce more energy, ATP, per unit of oxygen consumed. You have mastered the metabolic switch. While the client is desperately trying to burn fat, a process that requires immense amounts of oxygen, your body has switched to burning glucose. It's a tactical maneuver that requires less oxygen and gives you a critical energy advantage in this hostile environment. Look at the pack on your shoulders. It weighs 30 kilograms. You are carrying the tents, the cooking fuel, and the very oxygen tanks that will keep your client alive. You are wearing specialized all-in-one high-altitude boots for maximum mobility. Your downsuit is a second skin, designed to be worn for days on end, because in this place, you never know when you'll need to move. The cold is already biting, dropping toward negative 30 degrees Celsius. For a lowlander, the risk of frostbite is immediate if skin is exposed for even a few minutes. Their basal metabolic rate is struggling to maintain core heat. But your BMR is naturally higher, a biological heater that helps you maintain warmth in the face of the freeze. You watch your clients struggle to clip their carabiner into the fixed line. Their fingers are clumsy, their mind clouded by the lack of oxygen. They are already losing the ability to think rationally. This is the beginning of the death spiral. Soon, the cell death will begin. Every minute they spend here is a minute stolen from their life expectancy. You take a deep, rhythmic breath. You don't feel the panic. You feel the weight of the mountain, but you also feel the strength of your ancestors. You are the brain of the mountain. You are the guardian of the threshold. Would you survive, or are you just another tourist waiting for your cells to blink out? The death zone doesn't give warnings, it only gives results. And as you look up toward the South Col, where the pressure will drop even further to 356 millibars, you realize that for most people, the threshold is where the story ends. For you, it's just another day at the office. Day 2, Camp 4, 8,000 meters, the entrance to the abyss. Welcome to the death zone. You have just crossed the invisible line at 8,000 meters, 26,247 feet. This is not a place for humans. It is a graveyard where the physics of life have been suspended. At this altitude, the atmospheric pressure has plummeted to a mere 356 millibars, less than a third of what you would feel at sea level. You are now standing in a vacuum where the oxygen availability is only 30 to 33% of what the human body requires to survive. For your client, the countdown has begun. Without supplemental oxygen, a human at this height has a life expectancy of only 16 to 20 hours before their vital systems collapse entirely. Every minute they spend here, they are burning through a biological fuel tank that cannot be refilled. The client's sensory collapse. It is midnight at Camp 4 on the South Col. The wind is a living thing, clawing at the nylon of the tent with a scream that never stops. Inside, your client is waking up, but they aren't fully there. They describe a sensation of being dead inside. To them, the air in the tent is so thin that even shifting their weight feels like a marathon. They are experiencing the terrifying onset of ACE, high-altitude cerebral edema. Because the atmospheric pressure is too low to keep fluids where they belong, their brain is beginning to swell. Since the skull is a closed container, that swelling has nowhere to go. It creates an agonizing pressure that begins to hijack their mind. They look at you with glazed eyes. They tell you they see magnetic waves rippling across the tent's ceiling. They speak of a seductive light or a forfeiting glow that is beckoning them to take off their mask and just go to sleep. This is the siren song of the death zone. Their cognitive functions are shutting down, replaced by hallucinations and a profound loss of coordination. They are running on a treadmill while breathing through a suction straw. Your role, the brain of the mountain. While your client drifts in a hypoxic haze, you are the only thing keeping the reaper at bay. You are the brain of the mountain. While the client struggles just to sit upright, you are performing a series of high-stakes tactical maneuvers. Thermal management. You are melting ice and snow, a task that takes an eternity at this altitude, but is the only way to prevent the dehydration that accelerates altitude sickness. Oxygen logistics. You are checking regulators, swapping out heavy canisters, and ensuring the flow rate is perfect. You know that a single leak is a death sentence. Metabolic maintenance. You force yourself to eat a caloric meal of rice and lentils despite having zero appetite. Your body has executed its metabolic switch, and you need glucose to fuel your hyper-efficient mitochondria. Spiritual armor. Before you leave the camp, you perform your ritual. You throw rice on the puja altar, asking the mountain gods for permission to enter the sanctuary of the summit. You give your client a chest bump, a physical jolt of reality to snap them out of their hallucination and build the courage for the final climb. the biological stress test. Why aren't you seeing magnetic waves? Because your mitochondria are hyper-efficient, producing more energy, ATP, per unit of oxygen than any lowlander can manage. While your client's cells are dying minute by minute, yours are performing a choreographed dance of survival. Your EPAS1 gene variant is keeping your blood thin and fluid, while your client's heart is straining to pump thick, sludge-like blood that is prone to clotting. Your heart is beating with a steady, rhythmic efficiency. You are an evolutionary marvel, a descendant of the Denisovans, built to operate in a realm where the air itself is a ghost. As you step out of the tent into the sub-zero darkness, the smell of ozone and frozen stone hits you. You check your client's mask one last time. You are carrying 20 to 30 kilograms of gear, the weight of their survival on your back. Would you survive? Most people's bodies would be shivering uncontrollably as their non-essential functions like digestion simply shut down. But you aren't most people. You are the Sherpa, and the real test hasn't even begun. Day 2 is where the tourists are separated from the legends. Tomorrow, at 8,300 meters, we find out what your soul is made of when the mountain demands a sacrifice. Day 3, the balcony, 8,300 meters. The choice. The climb from Camp 4 to the balcony is where the mountain stops being a challenge and starts being an executioner. It is roughly 2 a.m. The world is reduced to a 5-meter circle of light provided by your headlamp, cutting through a swirl of ice and shadow. The temperature has plunged below -30 degrees Celsius. At this height, you are no longer walking on a mountain. You are trespassing in a vacuum. Every movement you make is a tactical calculation. Behind you, your client is a ghost of their former self. You hear the rhythmic, mechanical hiss of their oxygen mask, a sound that at 8,300 meters feels like breathing underwater with heavy scuba gear. They are moving in slow motion, trapped in a slow-motion medical emergency. Their blood has become a thick, sludge-like silt, a condition known as polycythemia, where the body's overproduction of red blood cells makes the blood trugflutande and prone to clotting. They are a walking stroke risk. You hear a sound that freezes your own blood, a wet, rattling cough. Your client stops, hunched over their ice axe, and a spray of pinkish froth stains the inside of their mask. This is HAPE, high-altitude pulmonary edema. Fluid is leaking into their alveoli, effectively drowning them from the inside out. The cough is so violent you wonder if their ribs will crack under the strain, a common occurrence in the death zone. But your body, forged by 30,000 years of evolutionary selection, refuses to buckle. While your client's heart hammers at a dangerous rate, your EPAS1 gene, the super athlete gene inherited from the Denisovans, is working in silence. It prevents your blood from thickening, keeping it as fluid as it would be at sea level, allowing it to glide through your vessels and deliver oxygen to your brain with surgical precision. Your mitochondria are hyper-efficient, squeezing every possible unit of ATP, energy, out of the vanishingly thin air. You have fully embraced the metabolic switch, burning glucose because your body knows it requires less oxygen than fat. As you reach the balcony at 8,300 meters, you find him. Ravichandran Tharumalingam, a Malaysian climber huddled in the snow, shivering in the final violent stages of hypothermia. He has no oxygen, he has no guide. He is a shadow against the ice, abandoned by dozens of other climbers who walked past him, their minds too clouded by hypoxia or their hearts too hardened by the summit fever to stop. In the death zone, most people believe they lack the physical capacity to help another. It is a place of absolute selfishness. Your client is furious. They scream through their mask, their voice a distorted metallic rasp. They have spent thousands of dollars, trained for years, and sacrificed everything for the peak that is now within sight. They demand you move on. They view you as invisible infrastructure, a tool to be used for their glory. This is the moment of truth. You are the brain of the mountain. You look at the dying man, and then at your client. For you, a devout Buddhist, the choice is not a calculation, it is a mandate. Saving a life is more important than praying in the monastery. You make the call. You abort the summit. You force your client to turn around, prioritizing a human life over their personal prestige. You are about to perform an impossible feat that lacks any precedent in high-altitude mountaineering. You begin the rescue. Since a helicopter cannot land at 8,300 meters, the transport must be manual. You wrap the unconscious climber in a sleeping mat, a tactical move to allow him to be dragged over the snow and to provide a rudimentary sled. Then you hoist him onto your back. Think about the physics of what you are doing. You are already carrying 20 to 30 kilograms of equipment, oxygen bottles, ropes, and survival gear. Now you have added the weight of a full-grown man. You are performing heavy manual labor at an altitude where the atmospheric pressure is only 356 millibar. Every step down is a battle against gravity and the total absence of air. For 6 grueling hours, you descend through the heart of the death zone. Your lungs are screaming, but they do not fail. Your muscles are burning, but your hyper-efficient mitochondria keep the energy flowing. You are breathing through that suction straw, but your resolve is skotsekit. You are dragging a soul back from the edge of the abyss, step by agonizing step, down towards the relative safety of Camp 4. The sound of your crampons biting into the ice is the only thing you hear. The smell of the ozone-rich air and the metallic tang of your own effort fill your senses. You are not just a guide, you are a force of nature. Would you survive the choice, or would you have walked past him to claim your trophy? The mountain doesn't care about your medals, it only cares what you do when the air runs out. Day 3 is over. You have survived the moral test, but the physical rescue is far from finished. Are you ready for the long line? Day 4. The long line. 7,400 meters. The save. The descent from Camp 4 is a blur of agony and mechanical precision. You've already spent 6 hours carrying a dying man on your back through the heart of the death zone. Your muscles are screaming, and your oxygen supply is dwindling, but you cannot stop. You have dropped below the 8,000-meter line, but the danger is far from over. At Camp 4, you are no longer alone in this struggle. You are met by Nima Tashi Sherpa. This is where the true meaning of brotherhood on the mountain reveals itself. Together, you begin the brutal process of moving the unconscious Malaysian climber another 738 vertical meters down the mountain toward Camp 3. You take turns. One of you drags the climber, still wrapped in that rudimentary mat, while the other stabilizes him, navigating the treacherous icy slopes where a single slip means a 2,000-meter fall into the abyss. Your mitochondrial efficiency is the only thing keeping your legs from buckling. You are performing a feat of human endurance that is physiologically impossible for the very client who is still sulking behind you because they missed their chance at a summit photo. The edge of physics. You reach Camp 3 at 7,400 meters. The air is slightly thicker here, but it's still a place where the human body is in a state of critical degradation. This is the rendezvous point for the most dangerous helicopter mission on the planet. A high-altitude helicopter appears, sounding like a swarm of angry hornets in the thin air. The pilot is fighting physics itself. Because the air is so thin, the rotors can barely find the bite they need to stay aloft. The pilot executes a long line evacuation. They cannot land safely on these unstable, steep slopes, so they dangle a long cable below the aircraft. You watch as the climber, the man you carried on your back for hours, is clipped into the line. The helicopter pulls him into the sky, swinging like a pendulum over the western Coombe. It is a technical feat that exists at the absolute limit of what these machines can achieve. The rescue is successful. He's flown to Kathmandu to be treated for severe frostbite and life-threatening edema. The cold reality of the aftermath. The climber survives, but this is where the skutsheket tankende you need for this mountain meets the harsh reality of the world below. In the days following the rescue, the story goes viral, but the narrative is warped. Ravichandran Tharumalingam goes on social media to thank his sponsors. He thanks his insurance company. He makes no mention of you, the man who literally carried him away from death. When the internet starts to point out this asymmetrical relationship, he doesn't reach out to thank you. He blocks you on Instagram. This is the two-step valuation of life on Everest. To the world, the rich climbers are the heroes, and you are just invisible infrastructure, a tool to be used and then discarded. You are a professional athlete, a biological marvel, and a hero, yet you are treated as replaceable staff. You stand in the cold, watching the sun set over the Lhotse face. You don't need his thanks. You don't need a tag on a photo. You know that your EPAS1 genes and your ancestors' strength did what no amount of money could ever do. You saved a life in a place where life isn't supposed to exist. Would you survive the silence, or would your ego crumble when the world ignores your sacrifice? On this mountain, your resolve must be as skutsheket as your lungs. Tomorrow, we return for the summit, not for the client and not for the cameras, but for the silent triumph of the Sherpa. Day 5, the summit, 8,888 meters, the silent triumph. You are standing on the roof of the world. At 8,888 meters, 29,031 feet, you have reached the acute limit of human survival. This is not a place for victory laps or celebrations. It is a place where the atmosphere is so thin, with a pressure of only 314 millibars, that your body is essentially dying in real time. The air contains less than 30% of the oxygen found at sea level. To a lowlander, this feels like sprinting on a treadmill while breathing through a narrow suction straw. But as you stand here, looking out over the curve of the Earth, your body remains a fortress of biological efficiency. Your triumph isn't just about willpower, it's about the EPAS1 gene inherited from the Denisovans that keeps your blood flowing like water while others' blood turns to thick, deadly sludge. It's about your mitochondria, the power plants in your cells, which are hyper-efficient, squeezing every possible joule of energy out of the ghost of an atmosphere. You have successfully navigated the metabolic switch, burning glucose to save oxygen, a tactical advantage that allowed you to carry a dying man on your back just days ago. The temperature is a bone-chilling -30 degrees Celsius, a cold so intense it can freeze exposed skin in minutes. Yet your higher basal metabolic rate helps you maintain core warmth in this frozen wasteland. While others succumb to the two-step valuation of life on this mountain, the rich climbers who get the glory while you provide the invisible infrastructure, you know the truth. You are the one who is physiologically superior. The final reckoning. Statistically, you are safer here than any tourist. While 2.7% of climbers who summit never make it back down, the mortality rate for Sherpas like you is a mere 0.4%. Your ability to handle extreme fatigue and make rational decisions under the crushing weight of hypoxia is what makes you the brain of the mountain. You don't need the social media validation or the public thank you from those you saved. You are a professional athlete and a hero in a realm where most people are merely victims of their own ambition. The death zone doesn't care about your money, your equipment, or your pride. It doesn't care about the high-flow oxygen systems that make clients feel like they are at a lower altitude. It only cares about your DNA and your resolve. It is a place where your spirit is stripped bare against the ice. You take one last rhythmic breath of the razor-thin air. You look down at the world below, a world that will never truly understand what it takes to stand where you are standing.